Hello, it's Leslie Fightmaster, and today is day 64. So today we're going to focus on strengthening our shoulders and a little bit of ab work, and we'll work up into some handstands. So take your hands together in front of your heart and take a moment to set an intention for your practice today. And then we'll roll forward, making our way into extended child's pose. So as always, all intentions are always welcome. It's completely up to you. So extended child's pose, arms or shoulders distance apart, and start to work on turning your inner upper arms, your biceps up toward the ceiling, as you wrap your outer upper arms down toward the floor. Coming into your Ujjayi pranayama if you haven't already, breathing in and out through your nose with a slight constriction in the back of your throat as you breathe. On your next exhale, walk your hands off to the right and shift your hips over to the left. We'll just stretch out through the left side of the body. Inhale, walk your hands through center, and then as you exhale, sweep your arms back, interlacing your fingers or hooking your thumbs. Inhale. On the exhale, start to reach your arms up toward the ceiling. So just gently reaching up so we can begin to stretch the shoulders. And then release and sweep the arms forward. Inhale. As you exhale, walk your hands off to the left and shift your hips over to the right. You can stretch out through the right side. And back to center as you inhale. Exhale, sweep the hands again to the low back, interlacing your fingers, other pinky on top or other thumb. On the next exhale, reach the arms up again. Just stretching out the shoulders once again. So if your arms are the type of arms that go past straight, you have kind of looser joints, take just a little bit of a bend in the elbow as you work on stretching open the shoulders so that it doesn't go way into your elbow joint. And let's release that. Onto the hands and knees. And then bring your right arm under the left and pop up onto your left fingertips. You can start to make your twist as you pull your left hip back. And then take your left arm behind you. You can rest at your low back or hook it onto the right thigh. Begin to roll the left shoulder back. So again, we're stretching out the shoulders and widening the collarbones in this one as well. Then back to center on your inhale. Left arm underneath the right. Pop up onto those right fingertips. And just allow your twist to start to happen from above your waist. And then pull the right hip back so your hips are level. Either rest your right hand on the low back or hook it onto the left thigh. And again, roll your right shoulder back. So you start to bring the shoulder blades toward each other and widen across your collarbones, your chest. Inhale, center. Now walk your hands right underneath, a little bit in front of your shoulders, and then tuck your toes under, coming into downward dog. And then for this one, just like we usually do, let's bend one knee and the other to warm up. And bicycling the legs. We can stretch out our hamstrings a bit. Then start to reach your heels toward the floor, firming the legs. If you can straighten the legs, pull up on the kneecaps so your quadricep muscles are engaged. And then look forward. Inhale to plank. Top of a push-up. Pressing away from the floor, heels toward the wall behind you. Crown of the head's reaching forward. Don't let your head drop down. Keep the lower belly lifted. Make sure your leg muscles are nice and firm here as well. Shift forward about an inch and slowly lower to the floor. And then interlace your fingers at your low back and inhale, peel your chest up. So you're reaching the knuckles toward the heels. Pick up your belly away from the floor and lightly press your pubic bone down, and then reach your tailbone toward the heels. And then rest a moment. Make sure all 10 toes are pressing down onto the floor and that your feet are straight back behind you. Interlace with the other pinky on top, lifting up. Again, reaching your knuckles toward the heels. Back of your neck is long. Breathe into the chest. And then release. Hands next to your ribs. Inhale, upward dog, or you can stay with low cobra, your choice. And exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips, and stretch all the way back into downward facing dog. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Inhale again to plank. Exhale, slowly lower. You can always take your knees down first. Come all the way to your belly again. Interlace your fingers, take them behind your head, and inhale, lift everything up into a Shalabhasana variation. So the elbows are lifted. You're lifting the chest, lift the inner thighs up. The legs are off the floor, but keep reaching your tailbone toward your heels. Release, hands by the rib cage, upward dog or cobra on the inhale. Nice long exhale as you make your way into downward facing dog. Stretching back here. Get lots of length through your spine. Look forward, either step or hop your feet up. On your inhale, lengthen up your spine, lengthen out your spine, hands to shins. On your exhale, fold forward and inhale, press down through your feet. Reach all the way up and exhale. Hands to the heart, Samastitihi. Find your Tadasana pose, and then inhale, circle the arms up. And just pause here, spinning your triceps forward. So make sure that your ribs don't pop out. You can take your arms wider if the rib cage pops out or if your buns stick out too far behind you. We want to have all that pulled in towards center. Triceps spinning forward. Exhale, hinge from your hips to fold. Inhale, come halfway up and lengthen. Exhale, step back, plank pose, and lower chaturanga, shoulders no lower than the elbows. Inhale, press into up dog, thighs and knees off the floor, and exhale back into down dog. On the inhale, float your right leg back and up. As you exhale, draw it forward, shoulders over wrists. Try to draw your thigh right in towards your belly. A little bit of rounding in the upper back, a teeny bit as you press away from the floor. Breathing here, keep the belly lifted. Step the foot right in between the hands, spin the back heel flat, warrior two. Make sure you're lined up front heel with the back arch and gaze over your fingertips. Keep your low belly lifted as your front hip drops down toward the floor. And keep some weight in the outer edge of the back foot. And then interlace your fingers or hook your thumbs. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold in. Crown of your head is reaching toward the floor. The right shoulder is reaching toward the right knee. You can move any amount. Never matters how deep you get into a pose, just as long as you feel a stretch. Come on up. Take your hands to the floor and lower chaturanga. Inhaling up dog or cobra. And exhale back into down dog. Left leg back and up on the inhale. Exhale, bring it right down the center. Press away from the floor. Try to bring that thigh right in toward the belly. So you're using those core muscles. Lift the belly, lift the ribs, your hip points lifting up. Step the foot right in between the hands. Line up heel to arch, a warrior two. Gaze over the left fingertips and breathe. Lift your chest, but soften through your shoulder blades. Just a couple of breaths. And then interlacing with the other pinky or thumb on top. Open the chest, inhale. Exhale, left shoulder down toward the left knee. Keep pressing through the outer edge of the back foot, lifting the back inner thigh. But also press the outer ankle of that back foot in and up. Make sure weight stays in that leg. Release the hands back to the mat. Chaturanga, knees can be down there. Inhale, pressing up. Exhale, back into down dog. And anytime you want to break, just take it. Right leg up again. Same thing. Draw the thigh in toward the belly. Shoulders are over the wrists. creating some strength here in the arms, shoulders, and the abs. Look forward, step it between the hands, back into Warrior Two. Make sure your knee is right over your second toe. Drop the left arm, reverse, a nice side stretch. Now straighten the left leg, reverse triangle. Inhale, come up. Take a shorter stance if you like, don't have to. Shift your hips back as you take your right hand down to the shin or foot or floor. Lift through the left fingertips. Try to reach the crown of the head forward. Look up at the left hand if that's okay. Then take your left hand behind your back, rolling the shoulder open. So you can stay right with this, or take your right hand behind the back, interlace the fingers or hook the thumbs. Keep the belly lifted to protect your back and press the calf toward the shin in that right leg. Lots of strong core work. Inhale to come up. Back to Warrior Two. And take your palms together behind your back or your fists. Lean forward. Take your right elbow toward the right thigh, maybe on the inside of it. Roll the left shoulder back. So this one, you're widening across your collarbones and your shoulder blades are moving in toward each other. So be sure that right knee is still over the ankle. Release the hands to the mat. Chaturanga. Or you can skip it and go to down dog. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale to down dog. Left leg back and up on the inhale. Exhale, draw it in and hold here for a couple of breaths. Again, lifting the lower belly, hip points lifting up toward the lower ribs. Keep pressing away from the floor and breathing nice and steady. Look forward, step the left foot up, spin your back heel flat. Come up into Warrior Two just for a moment, making sure you're heel to arch with your feet. And then reverse it. Drop the right arm, reverse, side stretch. Keep reversing, straighten the left leg. And then come on up on your inhale. Walk it in closer if you like to. Shift your hips back, lean forward, get as much length as you can. Left hand down, right arm up, shoulders are in line with each other. That left hand can come down anywhere on that shin or thigh or the floor. Exhale, right arm, and bring it around to the low back or hook it onto the left thigh. Rolling your right shoulder back and continue to lean your torso back over the left thigh as you press weight into the base of the big toe of the left foot. You're welcome to stay right with this or pick up your left hand, interlacing the fingers, other pinky or other thumb, and breathe here, pressing the calf toward the shin on your left foot. Lengthen the torso. Keep leaning over that left leg. On your inhale, come on up. And exhale back into Warrior Two. Make sure your knee's over your second toe. Bend your elbows, either press your palms or your fists together. Then lean forward and take your left arm toward the left thigh. So I'm putting my left arm in front of the thigh. That might not work. You can always put it behind the thigh. But try as best you can to roll your right shoulder back so you can widen your collarbones. Release the hands to the mat. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale to downward facing dog. So feel free to push pause and take a child's pose if you want a little break. Otherwise, look up, step or hop the feet. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold hips over the heels. Inhale, root down to rise all the way up. And exhale, Samastiti. On the inhale, bend your knees, Utkatasana, weight into the heels. As you exhale, fold forward, hips over the heels. As you inhale, come halfway up and lengthen. On the exhale, step or float back, Chaturanga. If you're floating back, land with bent elbows. Inhale, press through the hands and feet, and exhale into down dog. Right leg up on the inhale. As you exhale, step it up. Take your left knee to the floor. Pad up that knee if you need any padding. Pull your right hip back and sink forward for a moment and reach up through the arms. Keep your right hip pulling back, sending your left hip forward. Look up toward the fingertips if that's okay on your neck. Keep drawing the front ribs in and lifting your back ribs up. Take the hands to the mat, straighten out that right leg. Exhale, fold forward for half Hanumanasana, half splits. Continue to pull the right hip back as you breathe here. And rebend the right knee and step back, chaturanga. Inhale, pressing up. Back to plank and add a chaturanga if you wish, up to plank again and then to down dog. Left leg back and up, inhale. As you exhale, step it through, right knee down. Inhale for your low lunge. So pull your left hip back and then sink forward. You don't have to sink so far, you can just come forward a little. So that right thigh and hip flexor, you should feel a good stretch. But continue to pull your front ribs in and try to keep your low back long. Bring the hands to the mat, straighten the left leg. Exhale, fold forward over the straight left leg, continuing to pull your left hip back as you do. Breathing here. Nice, long, steady Ujjayi breaths. Rebend your left knee, step back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog, and exhale, back to plank, another chaturanga if you wish, downward dog. And now step your right foot up again, left knee to the floor, come back into the low lunge, but then straighten your right leg. Either stay in half Hanumanasana, or if you want to slide out in toward your full split, you may. Being careful to keep the leg muscles engaged, especially on that right leg. Tuck the toes, losing my leg warmer, step or float back to plank. Chaturanga. Inhaling up and exhale back. Left leg up. Exhale, step it through. Take the right knee to the floor. And then we'll straighten the left leg. Exhale, fold over that leg. Maybe sliding all the way out toward full splits. If you're sliding out toward the full split, continue to pull your left hip back and send your right hip forward. Also, continue to lift up through your low belly. Tuck the toes, step back again to plank, and lower down. Inhale, press through your hands and feet. Exhale into downward dog. Right leg up again. Exhale, step it through, coming into a high lunge this time. So the right knee over the ankle, points over the middle toes. Drop the tailbone down as you lift your hip points up and draw your belly in. Exhale, bring the hands to the mat, lifting the left leg up for a standing split. Start to hold on to the left leg, drawing your chest toward the thigh. Reach from the inner thigh of your left leg and try to drop your outer hip toward the back of the mat. Then walk your hands forward, bend your left knee, walk your fingertips back without touching the floor with your foot. See if you can make your way into Navasana. The knees can be bent or straight, but lift your chest and draw your shoulder blades away from your ears. Nice core work. Cross your ankles, hands in front of the hips, pick up anything at all, and then step or float back into chaturanga. Inhale, press into up dog or cobra. Exhale, make your way to down dog. Left leg floats up. Exhale, step it through. Stand the ball of your back foot as you come up into high lunge. Reach up, pulling the left hip back. Stretch through the back leg. Stretch up through the arms. Bringing the hands down, lift up through your right leg from the inner thigh. So we want to try to level off the hips as best we can. And then walk yourself in towards your left leg, maybe holding onto the left leg with the left hand or maybe even both hands. Continue to reach up through the right leg and then bring your right leg forward, bend the knee, walk your hands back without touching the floor, back into Navasana. Lift your chest. Your legs can be bent or straight, but you've got to keep your back long. Cross your ankles, press down, pick up. Either step or float into chaturanga. Inhale, press into up dog or cobra, and exhale back into down dog. Step or hop feet to hands. Inhale to lengthen, and exhale to fold. Bend the knees. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Drop the hips. Exhale to standing, Samastitihi. Go into the wall, I believe. I got to take off my sweatshirt. It started getting a little warm. It was chilly this morning. So I'm going to take my mat all the way to the wall. So find a wall near you. Pause if you want to pause so that you can get to the wall. And then we'll sit up with our back up against the wall and the legs in front. Now where my feet are right now, that's where I'm going to have my hands. So measure that. Bring your hands to where your feet just were. Arms shoulder distance apart. Spin the triceps back and the biceps forward. Then step one foot up as high as you can and the other. Start from a little short down dog to lift up. And then just holding here for a few breaths. Keep lifting your shoulders up away from the floor as you press into the base of your fingers. And draw your ribs and your belly in. And breathe. Firm the legs. Anytime you need to come down, come down. Otherwise, we're going to hold this one for a little bit so we can build the strength in the arms and the abs and the legs, all of it. And just be upside down. It's really nice for our bodies to go upside down. However, if you have high blood pressure, glaucoma, or it's your lady's vacation, aka moon cycle, you don't want to go upside down. Come on down and rest into a child's pose. So if you can't go all the way upside down, you're welcome to just sit at the wall and put your legs up the wall. That's a way that you can go upside down a safe way. So we're going to do close to the same thing. Take that short down dog against the wall again. Step up nice and high into your handstand modification, and then bring your right foot toward the floor, lift it back up, bring your left foot toward the floor, and lift it back up, and then step down about a foot. Try it again, right foot, and then left foot. I had a much easier time when my legs are up higher. Making an L shape with your body if you can. Keep your shoulders over your wrists. And then come on back down and rest in a child's pose. Make fists with your hands and circle your hands if you have any discomfort in the wrists. Now you can stay with the pose we just did, the handstand prep, or step your right foot forward. Lift your left leg, taking a hop. Shoulders are over the wrists. And just a little hop, so maybe you don't come all the way up, it's fine. Lift any amount. If you happen to make it all the way up, press away from the floor with your arms. Try and squeeze your legs together. Pull your ribs and your belly in, and then slowly make your way down and rest, child's pose. So in a handstand, we got to make sure that the shoulders are over the wrists before we kick up. And you want to lift the leg as much as you can. That's why we did our standing splits and our other splits. Okay, now, right leg up, left leg is down. And again, shoulders over wrists, maybe a little hop, one or two little hops if you like. Maybe you'll find the wall and stay at the wall. Maybe you'll press away from the floor and try to get your feet away from the wall for a little bit. Keep the belly and ribs drawing in. Keep a steady gaze. Slowly coming down again, child's pose. Let's take a little break. And then just turn around. Take your backs of your hands together and then point the fingertips up so you make a big circle. You'll touch the palms. And then go the other direction, just so you can give your wrists a little bit of a stretch. If you like another stretch better, that's fine too. Come on to your back, feet hips width apart. And we'll press into bridge. Roll the shoulders under. Reach your knuckles toward your heels. Chin away from the chest. If you can't interlace your fingers, no worries. You can bend your elbows and point your fingertips up. Come on down. Let your knees just drop in toward each other for a little break. Either the same thing or wheel pose. I'm going to do another bridge and clasp the other interlace. Chin still away from the chest. I'll spiral my thighs in toward each other and reach my tailbone toward the backs of the knees, and then lower down for a little break. Knees together again, just allow yourself to rest. And then hands up by the ears, elbows straight up toward the ceiling. Pause at the crown of the head, line up your wrists and your elbows, and make your way into wheel pose. If not, take another bridge pose. Stretch out the whole front of your body. Your chest is moving toward the wall that you can see. Your tailbone is reaching toward the backs of your knees. Come on down, and this time we'll hug the knees into the chest. Gently rocking. And then extend the legs out. And take your legs up and over. If you're still at that wall, you can rest your feet on the wall. I was a little too close, so I'm going to do it again into Halasana. I'm just going to rest my feet on the wall instead of taking them to the floor. Keep my chin away from the chest. If you have any discomfort in your neck, come down right away. And again, this is technically an inversion, so if you have high blood pressure, glaucoma, ladies' vacation, or any injuries in the neck or the back even, it's not a pose for you. You could come and sit up and take a forward fold instead. The elbows are moving in toward each other, and then bend your knees. You can rest them on your forehead, or maybe take them down around the ears so you can stretch out your low back a little bit after your back bends. And then we'll begin to roll out slowly, slowly. And take your hands underneath your hips, press onto your elbows and your forearms. Lift your chest up, look back. The crown of your head may or may not touch the floor. Matsyasana, fish pose. It's a nice counter pose after our Halasana. And then draw your knees into your chest. Drop your knees off to your left and look over your right shoulder for a nice little twist. Back to center on the inhale. Exhale, knees to the right, looking over the left shoulder for a twist. And back to center one more time and hug your knees in. And then since the wall's right here, I'm going to take my legs up the wall for Shavasana today. So my right hip comes up against the wall. I'll lean back. As I lean back, I'll swing my legs right up there. I'll cover my feet with my leg warmers because it's chilly today. And I'm going to cover up with my sweatshirt also. So if you're comfortable with your legs up the wall, you can stay with this. If that's not your most comfortable position, feel free to take a regular Shavasana. And once you get into your resting pose, allow yourself to just sink in and relax. As you're resting a little bit longer, today's quote will come from the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. I have the translation and commentary by Sri Swami Satchidananda, but there are many, many translations. I thought it would be nice to talk a little bit about what yoga is and why it's so great for us. So the first sutra says, Atta Yoga Nushasanam. And what that means is now it is time for yoga. Now the word yoga means union, or actually means to yoke or to bring together. So we do bring together our body and mind, and that only happens in the present moment. So we can really only practice yoga when we are in the now. When we're moving through our practice and we're focused on our poses and our breath, we really don't have time to think about anything else. We're not thinking about the past and we're not worrying about the future. We're just right in the moment. And that's one of the reasons why yoga makes us feel so good. So start to take some longer breaths, make some movements in your fingers and toes, stretch your arms overhead. If your legs are still up the wall, draw your knees into your chest and roll to your right side. And then press yourself up. And we'll make our way into our seated position. Comfortable seated position, cross at your shins. Bring your hands together in front of your heart in Anjali Mudra. And then hands to our forehead to remind us to have clear and loving thoughts. Hands to our heart center to remind us to have clear and loving intentions. And hands to our mouth to remind us to have clear and loving communication, sending out this wonderful energy we all created to all beings everywhere. Thank you so much for practicing with us today. Namaste. If you enjoyed our class today, please push the like button and leave me a comment. Let me know how this 90 days are going for you and maybe what your intention was today. Please subscribe if you haven't, and if you are able to send a donation of any amount, there is a link below in the comments, and any amount is always helpful. Or you can support us by going to fightmasteryoga.com. If you ever buy things on Amazon, there's a link there. It doesn't cost you anything else, but just if you go through the link, we get some credit for that. So thank you. Bye.